Alright, so if you're a CSGO fan and you saw last week's announcement, then, holy shit. Tom Cruise, Mr. Consistent, the face of hashtag to the stars himself, the most patient, the most precise, and most unreasonably pretty AWPer in the entire world, Dev1ce, has joined Ninjas in Pyjamas? We knew something was gonna change with Astralis, but this? Surprise, surprise, it's that time again where I tell you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that the next time I put out a CSGO don't at me, which, thanks to you guys, have been killing it lately, you get to watch it straight away. Okay, so as they say in Hollywood, let's cut to the chase. Last week, it was announced that Astralis' star fragger, Nikolai Dev1ce, had left the organization to become a nightwear donning ninja. Needless to say, this is a very big deal. Like, not just by CS standards, by esports standards. Now, if you somehow have no idea who Dev1ce is, well, get your fucking head out of your ass. Like, even giving you the TLDR feels ridiculous. A 4-time major winner, 11-time inhabitant of the HLTV Top 20, and 18-time MVP recipient, Dev1ce is not just the most consistent AWPer ever, or the star player of the greatest roster that the game has ever known, but pretty much the best CSGO competitor of all time.
Flashed, he's gonna get that shot, and that has to feel a little bit going out middle of the air to take down Alex, and now they're pushing. Oh, you've got to be kidding me! He takes every single one from nothing to the AWPers.
Like, don't get me wrong. Mechanically, Simple is the de facto filthiest fragger ever to touch CSGO, with ZywOo hot on his trail. But in terms of results, accolades, and, well, pretty much every other metric you can imagine, Dev1ce takes the cake. It's not even close. So if Astralis were so great, then why'd he leave? Well, it's no secret that since the start of COVID, online play has engendered quite a few hiccups for Astralis. While other up-and-coming lineups were using the so-called online era as an opportunity to level the playing field and ultimately excel, Astralis saw it as an opportunity to, I won't say sit back and relax, but let's say recover after nearly 2 years of unprecedented dominance. With 2 of their core members taking elongated breaks on account of burnout, Astralis decided to start signing young, unproven talent, nurturing them in an academy-type infrastructure, while getting serious about the possibility of putting together a 10-man roster. And, as you can imagine, they didn't do that good. That said, as Astralis' main roster began to gradually return, their results definitely picked up. They won Pro League Season 12, DreamHack Masters Winter, and the IEM Global Challenge. The issue is that pretty much as soon as 2021 was underway, they fell off pretty hard. Following a second-place finish at the Blast Premier Global Final, Astralis fell into a slump of frankly awful placings that sent the Counter-Strike community for a bit of a loop. Things got especially spicy when Dev1ce hinted in an interview earlier this month that a change might be in order. The plot thickened when Simple leaked on stream that he'd scrimmed Astralis, seen their roster change, and assured everyone that while he couldn't say anything, it would shock us all.
Короче, мы играли один раз с Astralis на одной из карт, и мы очень сильно удивились, какие игроки играли за Astralis на этой карте. Когда вы узнаете, то вы офигеете. Я не могу это сказать, это все-таки их команда.
And then, about 24 hours later, Simple revealed who the missing player was. And it was the last dude that anyone expected.
I didn't see Dev1ce playing at all. Like, I never seen it before, and for a team who won 4 majors.
The question, of course, was where could he be going? And then we found out and shit ourselves.
I sleep in 1 fucking time, bro. Like, didn't take the day off. I still planned on streaming, and fucking Dev1ce leaves Astralis to NIP? In this economy?
Okay, so why would Dev1ce leave behind the coach who helped mold him, the 2 teammates with whom he'd been playing for like almost a decade, and the organization that he'd helped found? Well, part of it was logistical. Dev1ce's partner is Swedish, and he's actually been living in Sweden for quite some time. And according to him, it's caused some undue stress from time to time.
There's been a lot of, I would say, not stress, but there's a lot of time that goes into going back and forth between Denmark and Sweden. And as I've touched upon a little bit, I think that the energy that takes is just something that I could put elsewhere into becoming a better player.
The other reason, of course, was performative. Astralis' system just wasn't firing on all cylinders anymore, so Dev1ce decided to start over somewhere else.
I just want to learn how you guys do things and do it your way, and then adapt in that way. So just so you know that I don't want to come in and change stuff up. Just really impressed with the setup, honestly. I think, at least from where I come, you are maybe 5 steps ahead in how you practice, prepare.
Also, I will say, props to Astralis for how they handled the move from a social media perspective. In addition to kicking off a lovely little Dear Dev1ce hashtag, they put out a truly awesome tribute video that paid real respect to Dev1ce's indescribable importance to Astralis.
They need to find a way to get these kills and get on that ball very quickly, and now it's all falling apart.
As Smooya was apt to observe, it's actually super rare to see orgs dish out actual heartfelt thanks to a player who leaves them in the lurch. Dev1ce was central to Astralis becoming, in the immortal words of Sadokist, the greatest of all f***ing time, and they sent him off beautifully.
Certainly ringing for Astralis right here. 1 versus 4, and he's gonna get a headshot. Oh, what? No way!
Now, apparently, Dev1ce had his eyes on Ninjas in Pyjamas from the get-go. Part of this was likely to do with the logistical reasons mentioned earlier, since Ninjas in Pyjamas is pretty much the most legendary Swedish org in esports. The other part of it was probably the fact that NIP are kinda nasty with it.
I don't even think they can get here. This either works or they're never going to get close. Dupree with a 1-kill CTR lining them up. A big triple. Oh, and they all line up for him. A quad kill.
After offering heartfelt goodbyes to Get Right and Forest in 2019 and 2020 respectively, NIP entered a rebuilding state of sorts, where they picked up a bunch of youngins who, over time, injected new life into this once dominant org who, let's not kid ourselves, had really fallen off. In fact, just weeks before the Dev1ce pickup, they finished top 4 in ESL Pro League Season 13, and were looking like they might once again become a household name. And now that they have the most consistent AWPer alive in their backlines, they're primed to do just that. As for who Dev1ce replaced, it was Knock, who, despite being understandably frustrated, couldn't really hold it against NIP for subbing him out for one of the best AWPers on the planet.
I'm doing nothing, you know. I'm not practicing. I'm just chilling on the bench and looking for a new team. I respect the NIP's decision, and I don't. And I would lie if I didn't say I would do the same, you know. It's not that everyday Dev1ce is available to pick up. Dev1ce is better, yeah, man.
As for the transfer itself, Dev1ce's buyout is rumored to have come in at a whopping $1 million. And from the sound of things, Astralis are probably pretty happy with that, since according to Mira's recent HLTV editorial, their stock price lowered by 6% on the day of the announcement. And that's after they already reported losses of $8.5 million at the end of 2020. Now, in terms of who Astralis will get to replace him, it's really hard to say. Now, for those who aren't intimately familiar with CS, Dev1ce is a very idiosyncratic AWPer, like a unicorn, truly one of a kind. Why? Because he's an absurdly defensive aimbot who's perfected this signature ultra-passive playstyle. And because of that, he's virtually impossible to replace. Now, that's not to say that Astralis couldn't change things up and sign some other type of world-class AWPer, but there is literally no one who can stand in as a one-to-one replacement for Dev1ce. Astralis could sign Simple or ZywOo, and they still would not be able to fill that void. Since Astralis are seemingly only interested in signing Danes, it's likely that they double back for Esatag, since they had great success with him before. It's also possible that they go for a Danish up-and-comer like Yugi or Acor, but needless to say, none of those feel even remotely capable of replacing Dev1ce. The most logical pickup would probably be Cadian. The thing is, Cadian's already kicking ass, taking names, and vying for the top spot in the world over on Heroic. Crazy as it sounds, Cadian has no reason to go to Astralis. And, as Mira aptly pointed out elsewhere in his article, there are other things to consider. Xyp9x has not been the minister of anything all year. Magisk is a far cry from the top player in the world he was back in 2019, and Glaive has a little big-brained baby on the way. I don't know what the future holds for Astralis, but I'll be honest, it's not looking especially illustrious. My hope is that they start looking abroad. Maybe pick up Kenny S, PogChamp, Smooya, Eye Emoji, my boy Guardian. Look, our guy can f***ing dream, okay? As for Nip, who's to say that dishing out big bucks for Big Daddy Deva doesn't rekindle some of that good old Nip magic? I, for one, cannot wait to find out. The man is literally the unsung GOAT. One day we're gonna have to do a video about this phenomenon. That, like, the guy is somehow literally obviously the greatest player to ever touch CSGO. But, like, Simple and ZywOo just literally, like, oh, he no-scoped 2 dudes. That's akin to winning 4 majors. like, and I'm the biggest Simple fanboy alive. And, like, even I can admit that, like, it's just not fair. Like, Dev1ce gets dealt a bad hand. Like, this guy has earned it. Like, what the f*** else does he have to do, right? Like...